Chosen one, hear this with every corner of your spirit, because what you are stepping into right now is not an accident, not a coincidence, not a random interruption in your day. This moment is heaven's intentional intervention, a deliberate pull from the throne of God Himself, because the spiritual realm has issued a decree concerning your destiny so powerful that ignoring it has become impossible. And whether you realize it or not, your life has just crossed an invisible line where heaven no longer allows you to remain who you were, because the timeline of your purpose has reached its appointed hour. And the divine alarms ringing over your life are not whispers, but declarations that something inside you has awakened, something around you has shifted, and something ahead of you has been released. And what I'm about to reveal is not gentle comfort. It is a spiritual confrontation with the truth heaven has been waiting for you to recognize, that you have been living beneath the authority God placed on your name, carrying burdens heaven never approved, wrestling battles heaven already resolved. And the heaviness you've been feeling was never evidence that God abandoned you, but proof that God was preparing you for a breakthrough so accelerated, so forceful, so destiny-altering that entering it before the appointed time would have crushed you, and stepping into it without transformation would have exposed you. But now heaven has spoken the word "enough" over your spirit, and the activation assigned to your life is not soft inspiration, but a divine ignition awakening the part of you the enemy tried to suffocate since childhood. Because everything you walk through, the betrayal, the silence, the confusion, the delays, the loneliness, the heartbreak, the closed doors, was the training ground where heaven refined the authority that hell feared most about you. And the reason your mind was the battlefield was because the enemy knew he had to break your identity before he could break your destiny. And that is why he attacked your thoughts, your confidence, your worth, your dreams, your energy, your clarity, your focus. Because he understood that if he could sabotage your belief in who God created you to be, he could sabotage everything God planned to release through you. But what he did not expect was your endurance, because even when you felt unseen, unheard, unsupported, undervalued, and unappreciated, heaven was documenting every tear, every prayer, every sacrifice, every moment you chose faith instead of fear, discipline instead of impulse, obedience instead of convenience, forgiveness instead of bitterness. And because of that endurance, you are now standing in the moment where heaven shifts from preparation to manifestation, from pruning to positioning, from silence to revelation. And God needs you to understand that the people who walked away were not stolen by the enemy, but removed by God, because their presence would have contaminated the level you are stepping into, and their influence would have weakened your discernment, and their mindset would have limited your elevation. And what you saw as abandonment, heaven labeled protection. And the tension you've been feeling in your spirit, the restlessness, the irritation, the sensitivity, the emotional stretching, the mental pressure, the sudden appetite for truth, peace, clarity, solitude, and alignment is not breakdown, but transformation, not instability, but transition. Because your soul is outgrowing what your environment can no longer hold, and your spirit is rejecting anything that does not match your next dimension. And this is why everything around you intensified recently. The spiritual warfare increased, the distractions multiplied, the emotional storms hit harder, the tests became heavier, the relationships around you shifted, because the enemy sensed what heaven is about to release into your life, a blessing not incremental, but monumental, not symbolic, but structural, not temporary, but generational. And just like the Red Sea, the lion's den, and the wilderness moments that came before divine elevation in Scripture. Your recent storms were the final resistance before divine release. And now heaven declares that the season of delay is over. The season of wandering is ending. The season of testing is closing. And the divine gate of destiny is opening before you. And the door God is unlocking for you cannot be shut by people, sabotaged by enemies, overshadowed by fear, blocked by your past, or delayed by doubt, because this door is not coming from the earth, it is coming from heaven. And now God says to you with clarity, prepare yourself, because blessings this big require readiness, this deep. And what is being released into your life needs a version of you that is focused, disciplined, purified, intentional, bold, unwavering, and aligned with heaven's frequency. So fix your focus, clean your atmosphere, sharpen your faith, release the distractions, forgive the past, let go of the weight, and elevate your standards. Because the blessing coming is too heavy for a heart still holding yesterday. And now heaven is moving you into the chapter where God will publicly confirm what you carried privately, where He will validate the seasons that looked wasted, where He will honor the nights you cried, the days you pushed through, the moments you kept believing even when everything around you told you to quit. And now the favor will increase. The opportunities will multiply. The clarity will sharpen. The connections will align. The resources will flow. Because God is not just answering prayers, He is fulfilling prophecy. And those who underestimated you will witness what God does next, not for your pride, but for His glory. Because Psalm 23:5 makes it clear that God prepares the table in the presence of your enemies, meaning your elevation will not be hidden, but seen. And chosen one, now your identity is shifting, your authority is strengthening, your discernment is activating, your spirit is maturing, your assignment is unlocking, and your destiny is unfolding. Because this is not ordinary motivation. This is prophetic confirmation that you are stepping into the most defining chapter of your existence, the chapter where what used to break you will bow to you, what used to delay you will accelerate you, and what used to confuse you will now make sense, because the timing has completed its cycle, the alignment has reached its fullness, and heaven has signed the spiritual contract over your next level. And everything that felt heavy, painful, confusing, or exhausting was not depression, but spiritual labor. And now the contraction has become delivery. The pressure has become breakthrough. The opposition has become direction. And the reduction has become elevation. Because God had to strip away what would have sabotaged your future, cleanse what would have contaminated your calling, silence what would have distracted your purpose, and break what would have limited your growth. And now heaven declares that the preparation is complete, the refinement is sealed, the vessel is ready, and the reward assigned to your endurance is entering your timeline, because the atmosphere around you is shifting. Your intuition is awakening, your dreams are aligning, your sensitivity to the Spirit is increasing, your peace is stabilizing, and your vision is sharpening. Because your spirit already knows what your mind is just beginning to understand, you have arrived at the hour heaven has been preparing you for. And now God is orchestrating divine alignment, supernatural acceleration, relational upgrades, strategic opportunities, generational restoration, and blessings tailor-made for your calling. And the results will be so precise, so undeniable, so astonishing, that even you will say only God could have done this. And chosen one, this next phase is not just a season you enter, but a dimension you inhabit, a dimension of clarity, purpose, abundance, authority, wisdom, discernment, peace, influence, and identity. A dimension where what belongs to you recognizes you, where your purpose chooses you, where your identity expands, where your faith leads you, where your standards protect you, where your calling speaks for you. And heaven says that you are ready for this dimension, because this is the phase of arrival, not preparation, the phase of possession, not hoping, the phase of receiving, not waiting. And now heaven declares over you that every gate locked against your destiny is opening. Every chain restraining your breakthrough is breaking. Every cycle repeating in your life is ending. Every spiritual blockage is dissolving. And the miracle that matches your obedience is being released. And the evidence of your transformation will be so visible that no one will need you to explain a thing, because your elevation will speak for itself. And this moment marks the divine shift where heaven stops hiding you and starts presenting you, and nothing, no enemy, no person, no delay, no force can stop what God has decided for your life now.